I am in extreme rural Laos on the Cambodia and Vietnam border. And today is actually the first day of the Lao New Year. And we're also into the first week of our 2-week visit my wife's family for the first time in 10 years. Well, another thing that made this morning very special is that I was able to take part in a genuine, intimate ceremony honoring Da's father who just passed away, and also grandmother and grandfather who recently passed in the past few years. These are something I never experienced before, especially on this level. Da has shared her experiences with me in pictures. At times I couldn't make it because the distance, 13 to 14 hour drive to get here. And it just was never possible while I was working, just because how inconvenient it was and how long and arduous the trip is. So unlike Vientiane and unlike Bangkok, I'm in rural Laos celebrating the Lao New Year, and there's no fireworks, there's no countdowns, there's no huge parties, there's no people acting crazy in the streets with water guns and big festivals and big orgies of parties and music, loud music. I am celebrating the start of the Lao New Year with a family who clearly very much loves each other. It feels sentimental, family focused, and very community centered. You know, the family gets together, they sit around, they enjoy each other, they have their drinks, and they drink a lot. I don't drink. It's one of the hard parts about me being in almost any context where people are drinking. I don't drink. I used to drink and party, but I can't really relate to them, especially when they start getting intoxicated. And that's okay. They respect me and they know how to keep space with me and know that that's just not something that's part of my lifestyle. And I respect them with their lifestyle. I wish I could join them in it, but I can't. And that's okay. Even Da, I asked her, why isn't she joining them? She says she doesn't drink either. She says she's always been like that. She's put herself apart when the family starts drinking and getting loud and rambunctious. She just doesn't participate in that either. I'm kind of glad she doesn't. She's a health-oriented. She never drank much. I'm glad to see it. It's fun to watch, you know, and this is a time when people go to the temple. There's a spiritual aspect to it. There's some aspects to it that I don't really like that much. It is centered around good luck. The parts that I like are you're honoring your elders. We sat around and we washed her mother's feet and just paid her due and wished her blessings. There is a lot of luck wishing. There is a lot of money giving. When I arrived here, I did want to give them a gift, and we bought them a refrigerator, very nice refrigerator that they well needed. So I didn't feel so inclined to actually give cash, even though culturally I said, look, I gave them a refrigerator. I'm not comfortable with giving cash as a gift, especially here, and especially with the connotations on it. There's some shedding of water, dripping of water on each other, especially the drunker they get, the more they do it. Here, it's not like it is in the big cities. Here, it's done out of blessing and respect. In the cities, it's just a big drunk party where a lot of things can go wrong with between beer, water, and electricity, and drunk driving. A lot of drunk driving during this time of year. So the ceremony that I attended was every year, they need to wash the bones, quote unquote, of their ancestors, their recent ancestors who died, especially the elders. The father died about 5 months ago, and the grandmother a couple years ago, and the grandfather. So we went to the temple around 10 o'clock, and a lot of food was prepared. Relatives came over. They were preparing food, started early. We take a bunch of food there. We set it up for the monks to eat. And then the family gathers around. The monks will pray, and then they do some special wrapping of the twine. We anoint the bones. The actual bones come out, are taken out of the tomb, placed in front of everybody. I asked Da if she could explain the deeper meaning behind some of the things that they did with it. but she can't. She just says that's our culture. So I'm not really going to get any wise there, and that's fine. I wasn't there as a tourist. I was there as part of the family. And so it was really neat to just be accepted, and they respect that. But they allowed me to be part of something that's extremely intimate. You know, only family members were there. And I just felt honored, even though I couldn't really participate. So I watched because I didn't know what to do, and I'm not really comfortable with doing some of the things that they do. I'm not Buddhist, and I'm not going to do Buddhist things. And they respect that, and I respect them for what they do. I let them do what they do, and they allow me to do what I do, and we just accept that and respect that in each other. But it just was neat to be part of something where I wasn't a tourist. I was taking video, I was taking pictures, but mostly for them. And they want that. They want that record. They're not really exclusive in that sense. So I will share some of these moments with you, and I hope you enjoy them. They're out of respect and out of love for this family. I really love them. They're really a great family, and I'm honored to be part of their lives. So it was just one of those moments where you just see the cultural differences and you honor that, and you respect each other, and just the fact that they honor their elders. You know, it was just another observation and how I see them treating their elders. The huge respect, especially with the water anointing of the mother. We did that every year. They always came in when we came back for the Lao New Year. I'm proud to be part of that. They want to do it to me. I told that I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want them honoring me. There's no reason to be doing that with me. I'm not comfortable with that, and they were okay with that. I said, I'm not an elder here. Actually, I am. Since the father passed, I am the oldest male in the family. But I didn't feel comfortable with them doing that. And they were okay. Because they did put a chair for me to sit next to mother, and I'm like, I'm not on her same level. Maybe another year, maybe let me get used to that. That was my motive. I felt like I would be taking away something from her, where the focus should be on her now. And I just felt like she needed to be honored by washing her feet and blessing her. So this is the type of experience you can't plan when you move somewhere. These are organic relationships, and you just end up being part of the culture in some ways and in your own way, in a unique way. I'm grateful for that. It's becoming part of my life. And now that we're back permanently in Laos, and this is what we wanted. We wanted to be more consistently part of the family's life here, even though they live 13 hours away. So my parents died. I'd mourned 2 years for my mom. I mean, with heavy tears. And their father just passed only 5 months ago. We don't really do anything like this as far as formal family gatherings and ceremonies. Sabadi. Sabadi. Kanya ngay. Oh, bye nay. Okay, Sukti Bimai. For our culture, I mean, we kind of celebrate and remember our parents and our grandparents in our own private ways. There's nothing really formal that I'm aware of that we've ever done, except friends of our family. The sons don't go to visit the grave of their mother at all because they're Christian and they say she's not there. Since my mom passed, I've been back home twice, and I've gone to the grave. It's really one of the only physical connections that I have, and it means something to me. So it really ends up becoming your own little personal ceremony. And in my house, I set up a memorial for my parents. It's a little corner on a shelf. I've got 2 candles. I've got 2 Bibles stacked there, and a lantern, and a poem that my sister gave them when my mother died. And that's my memorial, you know, and I actually was influenced by Lao culture to do that. It's not a temple, it's not a worship center. When I come into my office, it's a memorial for me to remember my parents. And the thing that was the most important for them, or at least for my mother, was the Bible and her faith. Not so much my dad. So how do you celebrate or remember your relatives that have passed, your family, your parents? How do you remember them? Do you do anything special, or is it just something introspective in your own mind and in your own way that's private? Do you do anything with family? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. So Lao New Year, from my interpretation, is become a big festival in Vientiane, and I think it's lost a lot of its traditional cultural meaning, because it's just a big drunken party now. I'm not saying all the people do it, but not out here. I see that it's a way to remember the past, the people that were important to you in it, and to appreciate the present. The Lao culture is very much present oriented. The calendar New Year celebrations are looking forward. They're forward looking, your goals, how you want to be a better person, things you want to achieve and accomplish. But the Lao New Year, I think, is appreciating the people who were important to you, and and being present with them, enjoying their presence. And that's what they're doing. And I really love to see that. So today, do you hear music in the distance? I think maybe in some closer to the city. I assume there's a bar in the area. Every town has a bar. And I can hear them in the distance. But it's not like it would be if I was in Vientiane right now. In Vientiane, it would be like I'd be living in stereo, parties everywhere, drunkenness and water and splashing, even though we have no water in Vientiane. We still have no water in Vientiane. It's going on 2 months now. So today was about thinking about the past and the town, and waking up tomorrow morning to face another new day. And then we just move on at a much slower pace than to the rest of the world. So days like this just remind me how much there is to learn in a small town in rural Laos, and how much my life is changing, being basically a nomad for 30 years. That this is a place where I'm going to be building new roots with a family and a culture that I never would have expected. You know, when I got back together with my wife, she's from this rural part of town in Laos, in deep south, and I am a small town boy, and somehow God brought us together. There's a reason and a purpose for me being here now. So have you ever experienced anything like this? Have you ever experienced the Lao New Year? Have you ever experienced living like this? Thanks everybody, take care, God bless. Take it slow.